long has NASCAR been racing at Martinsville Speedway? Well, since the very beginning. On July 4th, 1947, more than 4,000 fans jammed into the one-year-old dirt half-mile racetrack to watch Fonty Flock beat his brother Tim, Buck Baker and sanctioning body founder Bill France himself in NASCAR's sixth ever race. The racetrack that Clay Earls carved out of the Virginia countryside was shaped like a paperclip, and just 137 feet more than a half mile in length, 0.526 miles to be exact. Other than an asphalt paving job in 1955 and the addition of more durable concrete lanes in the 12-degree banked corners 21 years later, Martinsville Speedway, the only remaining NASCAR venue from the 1947 season, is the same configuration it was when the gates were first opened. And then there's the addition of grandstands to increase the seating capacity from the original total of 750 to the 85,000 it boasts today. Now a NASCAR property, Martinsville Speedway hosts the NASCAR Cup Series, Craftsman Trucks, late model stocks, and NASCAR Whelen Modified Tours. With short, tight, modestly banked corners, the competition is tight, and it can get quite physical. After 500 laps around Martinsville, few, if any, cars are unscathed. And race winners know they've earned their trophies. Tonight, it's the SkunkWorksGraphics.com 160, and it's next on HBR TV. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the virtual Martinsville Speedway. Let's take a look at the race details for tonight. Of course, it is the SkunkWorksGraphics.com 160 here from the paperclip at Martinsville Speedway. 160 laps the race distance, 66-degree air temperature as we get into the evening and nighttime hours, 57% humidity, partly cloudy skies, 2-mile-per-hour breeze. Drivers also have a 60% fuel load and 3 change sets of tires available to them over the wall for the duration of this race. Practice just about wrapped up here at the Speedway. Top time on the board, a 19:43, Zach Millett. Caleb Sisk second quick, Alfie Charon, the 71 of Connor Leach and Paul Durkee rounding out the top 5. Just about 2 minutes left in this session before we jump right into qualifying. Only a couple of drivers still on the racetrack. Zach Millett, Russ Kilgore, Chris Klein, PJ Cox. Look at the point standings coming into tonight. In fact, this might be outdated. I'll have to double check that momentarily. Yeah, the point standings we had on the graphic there, not up to date. Didn't get that one in there, unfortunately. But as they run currently, coming into tonight, of course, Chris Klein, your winner last week. But the point standings put Zach Millett top of the board, picking up the regular season championship. Alfie Charon finished in the second spot, 49 points back. Caleb Sisk was third. Mark Collins, Derek Welch, the top 5 drivers coming into tonight. Curious to see how this race presents this evening. Again, being a very small and relatively flat half-mile racetrack, it is a short track. These truckers, well, it can take some abuse. We'll see if that ends up being the case here tonight. Or if we get a real clean one. Sometimes that does end up happening as well. Qualifying about to begin. Looks like Jesse Sperling the first to park it at the end of pit lane, but does he roll? Doesn't look like he is as of yet. There he goes. Sperling trying to get as much heat into the tires as he can here to start his attempt. Green flag in the air for Sperling. First lap for Sperling in 1989, loses it, exit at turn 2. That's going to do it for his session. Zach Millett out on the racetrack as well. Millett way up the racetrack. Gotta be careful going too high. Gonna get any kind of debris on those tires. Green flag in the air. Millett's going for it on lap 1, it looks like. Top time right now a 19.82. It's PJ Cox. A little lift off turn 4 for Millett, but across the line he goes, puts it top of the board, 19.54. Second lap in the books for Zach Millett. Does he improve? He does not. Loses a couple of tenths, actually. So Zach Millett's top time, 19.548. Paul Durkee, a 19.858 on his first lap. Off turn 4, little wiggle for the 13 truck. He's trying to gather it up, crosses the line before he hits the wall. 19.918. It probably would have been a much better lap than that if he hadn't had those issues. Probably would have outpaced lap 1. Jeff Ottinger on the track. First lap for Ottinger at 20.6. 13th on the board. Caleb Sisk goes P2 at 19.65. Watch his second lap here, off turn 2 into 3. Second lap in the books, and he goes P1, 19.535 for Caleb Sisk. Relegates Zach Millett to the outside front row, beats him by just about 100th of a second. Justin Lawson, about to take the green flag. Wiggle off turn 4. We've seen a lot of guys do that tonight already. 20.098 from Lawson on lap 1. Second lap in the books for the 18 truck goes P3, 19.610. Great second lap for the 18 truck. That may wrap it up. We've got a handful of drivers that haven't taken a time yet. In fact, Alfie Charon just hitting the racetrack now. Got a 10-minute session to get it in, so guys may wait a little bit later in this session, hoping for a little bit cooler track temps. Granted, it is in the nighttime hours, so not a whole lot of cooling happening at this point. It's not like we're going from afternoon to evening. Charon takes the green flag. Oh, finishes his first lap. I'm sorry. 19.610 for Alfie Charon. Charon across the stripe, finishes up his second lap, stays fourth, 6.57. Little slow down, but not terribly, pretty consistent. Derek Welch across the line. 13th quick, 20.055 for the one of Derek Welch. Second lap, 19.750. Pretty big pickup for the one of Derek Welch as he smacks the fence. Exit at 2. Doesn't matter, not going to hurt nothing at this point. That may actually wrap it up for most of our drivers. Still a handful. Tom Barish, Russ Kilgore, Jesse Renning, and Joe Tucker not taking a time as of yet. With that, though, we're going to take the opportunity to step aside, get a break out of the way. We'll be back after this.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Martinsville Speedway, Davidson Builders Truck Series, your starting grid on the pole position with a lap time of 19.535 seconds. It's the 6 of Caleb Sisk. Outside front row, Zach Millett missed it by 12 thousandths of a second. He'll start in the second spot. Row number 2, Justin Lawson and Alfie Sharon. Row 3, it's Connor Leach and PJ Cox. Row 4, Derek Welch and Chris Klein, the number 51. Brandon Coleman starts in the 9th spot. 10th goes to Paul Durkee. Ryan Torsha starts 11th. 12th goes to Mark Collins. 13th starter is Jesse Sperling. 14th goes to Scott Milner. Ben McKinnon will start 15th. 16th starter is Jacob Sperling. 17th is Jeff Ottinger. Tony Polk will start 18th. Jarrett Woodard, the number 79, starts 19th. Joe Tucker starts 20th. Jesse Redding, his number sake, will start 21st. Russ Kilgore 22nd. And Tom Barish will start in the number 55 machine in 23rd. Your starting grid for Martinsville Speedway. 2 parade laps before we take the green flag. We'll get rolling here in just a moment. Again, the race details for tonight. Again, 160 laps the race distance. 3 sets of tires over the wall. Drivers are working with a 60% fuel load. Track temp nice and cool at this stage, now 68 degrees. Truck lights are off, getting ready to go back green flag racing here for another night of action here in the Numb Thumbs Racing League, the Davidson Builders Truck Series. Pace truck makes the hard left now in pit lane.
Green flag.
Green flag is in the air. Lap 1 in the books. Caleb Sisk leads the first lap, but under hot pursuit from Zach Millett. Millett jumps the curb down into turn number 1. He's going to lose about a truck length. Early aggression here from the 315. Got right up underneath the 6 of Caleb Sisk, and the 18 of Justin Lawson goes around, and caution is out on the speedway.
What do you think, bud? You think you're all right out there?
Lawson spun the wrong direction here on the main stretch. Backs it up. Gets her back into it. Let's see exactly what happened. We caught a bit of it here live. Gonna pick up the replay here on the backstretch. This is getting down into turn 3. We'll see if the 18 of Lawson had some help or if he just got the power down a little too soon. Power down too soon. Doesn't take much, even with these trucks that don't traditionally have a ton of horsepower. Some drivers opting for pit lane. Jacob Sperling, obviously Justin Lawson. At the back of the pack here, maybe just top off the tank. Get a little extra fuel in it. Well, it didn't take long, only a few laps before we got a caution. Tires not quite up to temperature yet. Air pressure's not where they need to be. Takes a handful of laps before we really get into a competitive mindset. And you got to be careful. You got to take it easy on getting the power down. Even with these trucks, again, we talked about how they don't have a ton of horsepower. And they're easier, not easy, but easier to jump on the throttle on corner exit. But as you saw just happening there with Justin Lawson, you do run the risk of the rear end of that truck stepping out, especially early on in the run. Again, only a couple of laps in when that happened. Tire temperature is pretty low. Air pressure is also correspondingly low. Already got some stream chatters, of course. Derek Welch prior to the race. Eddie Rose, Chastity Tucker, realtor, says, "Let's go, Tucker." Joe Tucker already up 7 positions. Tony Polk the same. And we get ready to go back. Green flag racing here. Millett will restart to the outside of Caleb Sisk once again. Sisk's going to bring him down to the green flag.
Green flag.
Got one truck in the wall, looked like Jesse Redding. And the caution is back out on the speedway. Redding with some damage. He got it gathered up pretty quickly. Just like that, 2 cautions right off the bat. We only got about 6 laps in. Let's see what happened here with the 21. I think Paul Durkee might have gotten a piece of this as well. See the 21 in the back of the pack there. Outside lane, the black and green number 21. Bit of a stack up. I don't know what happened there. The 15 didn't go, and it jacked up everybody behind him. Woodard had to get on the brakes. So did Jesse Redding. The 13 had to get on the brakes, but didn't. At least not in time. And then Justin Lawson, the back of the pack after his incident. Chain reaction. It's just the way it goes sometimes. You can't always see through these trucks. It's not the easiest as far as that end of it is concerned. Let's watch it now again from the onboard perspective from Jesse Redding. Full speed here. I still don't know why everybody checked up there. It's hard to say. There really wasn't anything going on. Unless somebody was playing a game or the other opportunity there, maybe somebody missed a shift coming through. I want to watch this from Paul Durkee's perspective since he was at the back of this. Less than ideal. So across the stripe goes the pace truck. The lights go out. So again, next time back green flag racing. We'll give this another shot. It's all we can do, folks. Short track racing, sometimes this happens, especially early on. We talked about tire temperatures, air pressures. Everybody's bunched up still. Cautions breed cautions. All the excuses in the book you can think of. They all make sense. Pace truck is back down pit road. We'll try this again.
Be ready, green flag.
One clean lap in the books. Caleb Sisk still out in front. Millett there about 3/10 off the back bumper of the 6th. Then it's Alfie Sharon, PJ Cox, and Derek Welch rounding out the top 5. Sisk might have got a piece of the outside wall on corner exit. Opens up an opportunity for Zach Millett. He's right there to the tailgate of the 6. Taking a peek down into turn number 2. Sorry, 3 that is.
Caution somewhere.
And another caution. Tony Polk involved in this one, facing the wrong direction into the fence. The number 20 in trouble. Not a whole lot of damage. He's going to drive away. Looks like Justin Lawson might be in this as well as the 55 of Tom Barish. Drivers coming in here likely to lap the 20. Is he going to get going here? We had a few involved in that. We'll start with Tony Polk. We'll see what happens here. Russ Kilgore gets to the inside. Almost a major impact for the 20. Actually, a great job. Maybe it was luck, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. For the 20 of Polk to miss that inside pit wall, that would have been a brutal hit, likely to end his night. Watch Tom Barish, the 55. I think he comes into this after the fact. He gets involved in a somewhat related part of this. Jesse Redding gets bumped and banged again as well. Barish goes around. Jarrett Woodard almost around, but he might get a piece. No, he doesn't. Jarrett Woodard trying to go around as Barish is just backing up the track. Field working the back straightaway here. Pace truck lights are still ablaze. Working our third caution of the night. About to start lap 17. Joe Tucker just in pit lane here, taking the opportunity while he's still near the back to get some pit service. A little bit of fuel insurance, if you will. Lights on the pace truck are still on, so we're going to go one more time around here, likely to get the one to go signal the next time past start finish. Gotta say, Millett looks pretty aggressive there in that second spot. Might have just a tick more pace than Caleb Sisk right now. Again, no one's really gotten into a groove, into a rhythm just yet. A lot of that can change. Just hope we don't see too much aggression out of the 315 here. Don't want to see the 6 get turned around. We want to see these guys fight this thing out to the end. Got Lori Vickers in the chat, says, let's go Sperling Brothers, 88 and 29. We are on the one to go. Pace truck hits pit road. Let's try it again.
Ready, green flag.
Out front on the restart. Good jump for the 6. Out of turn 4 is going to lead the lap. Millett back about a truck length and a half, maybe 2. Some action in the back of the pack. Sperling going to the inside on Brian Torsha. Not enough room. Torch slams the door. Connor Leach to the outside. 71 machine out of Canada. A little bit of rear end damage already to that truck. Leach locks up the left front, getting down in the corner. Lucky didn't slide up the racetrack, get in the 23. Real loose on corner exit. It's the 19. That's Brandon Coleman. Coleman down the middle, 3 wide into turn 3. That is super aggressive this early on. The yellow is out. Jacob Sperling, Tom Barish, Justin Lawson. Unfortunately, some repeat offenders here. Now let's see exactly how this happened. Looks like Joe Tucker might have been involved in it as well. Oh, the 88 truck of Sperling really loose and really high up the racetrack. Let's get a better look at that. Watch the 88 truck, Coors Light machine, way up out of the groove, puts the power down in the loose stuff, and around he goes in front of traffic. Jacob Sperling in pit lane here. A little bit of damage to get repaired. Working lap 26, already under our 4th caution of the night. Got to settle down, boys. I say that like they can hear me. Granted, some of them may have the broadcast running in the background. I know Zach Millett does, and others. Derek Welch typically has got it up there too. That said, I think all the drivers should have it running in the background. Last week's winner, Chris Klein, started 8th today, running in the 6th position. I think he was saying last week he was just looking forward to maybe a top 10 if he could get it done. At this rate, just keep the car out of the wall, keep the truck out of the wall, you might have a decent race out of it. They do have one faster pair, though, if they need it. As the race continues on, that's likely to be, well, less likely to be available to many of these drivers. Space truck hits pit road into the Geico restart zone. Sisk doesn't wait. He just goes as soon as he's in there. Wheel spin for Derek Welch and Chris Klein both. They gather it back up and they lose some ground. They're still side by side through turns 1 and 2. Sisk with the lead off of turn number 2. Then it's Millett, Charrett, PJ Cox, and now we watch the battle for 5th with Welch and Chris Klein. Connor Leach dives into the bottom of the racetrack, the inside of Chris Klein. Welch has completed the pass and cleared Chris Klein, so Welch runs 5th. Connor Leach now 6th. Leach goes to the bottom of the racetrack. Man, I thought he was going to dive bomb it in there. Again, only 30 laps in. They go, and Derek Welch too early on the power. He goes around.
One thing for sure, everybody on the racetrack will be pissed off at somebody else on the racetrack before this race is over with.
Ain't that the truth? Derek Welch looks like this one was unassisted, though. Let's take a look at it. Too early on the power. That's all it takes. Thought he was going around right there when his 71 got to the inside. Just a little bit too soon on the power on exit. Watching from the onboard here. We'll back it up again. We're going to go to the roof cam on the 71. I got to hand it to Connor, honestly. He did a good job not getting into the one there as he started to go around. It was close, but no contact. Again, Welch put the power down just a hair too soon. You saw it drifting out of the corner, and he didn't lift his foot out of it, which, well, honestly, you can kind of go one of two ways. You got too much power into it. You can spin the rear tires off of it, and it comes around like we saw the one do. The other part of it is when it starts to come around like that, guys have a tendency to just instinctually lift all the way up off the throttle. Well, that works to slow the truck down, but it does unload the rear end of the truck, meaning it transfers the weight to the nose of the race truck and can cause the truck to continue to spin. So it kind of hurts you in both ways. A lot of times you just got to keep your foot in it at least half throttle and drive out of it. Now that's all happening in the blink of an eye, so it sounds a lot easier than it is. Checking on the stream chat again, we've got, let's see, Tristan Cotton, let's go 6 and 71, BMR and Skunkworks to the front, Albert Anderson saying let's go DW, that's Derek Welch. Klein Collins, keep digging. No matter who you're cheering for, thanks for being here, appreciate it. Next time by will be Green Flag Racing. Pace trucks can head down the back straightaway and pick up pit lane here on the entrance to turn 3.
Green flag.
Sisk maintains the top spot over Zach
Caution.
Millett, Alfie Sharon, and the cautions
All right, you
back
tell me
out.
about your car, bud.
Five trucks involved in this one. Everybody trying to get squared away here. We're going to step aside, get a break out of the way. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Martinsville Speedway, let's take a quick look what happened here. Parrish gets in pretty hot, but is hotter up ahead. Looks like it started with Jarrett Woodard, possibly. Woodard was to the outside. The 13 just comes from a mile back and just drives in the back of Jarrett Woodard, and the pileup ensues right after that. Pace truck is in. Let's try it again. Sisk blinking out there for a minute. Green flag back in the air, and we're racing once again. Sisk back to start finish, leads the lap. Millett still 0.2 of a second off the back bumper right there. Again, we're 43 laps into this race and still no one really into a rhythm just yet with all the cautions that we have had. You need a nice long stretch of green flag run. Now, as far as fuel is concerned, if we do get a long stretch of green flag racing, you're looking 78 to 84 laps under a tank of fuel. Again, that's all dependent on if we stay green that whole time. Cautions obviously extend that number out further each time because you're not using anywhere near as much fuel to roll around here at highway speed as you are at well over 100 plus miles an hour down the straightaways. Caleb Sisk still out in front now, starting to put his advantage over Millett to about 3.5 tenths.
Caution's out.
And caution on the speedway once again. Jeff Ottinger in trouble now. Caution number 7, lap 47. See what happened here to the 76 of Ottinger just a moment ago. And it looks like it started up front with these drivers again. Big time impact there for Ottinger as he checked up with the spin happening up ahead. It looks like Jarrett Woodard was involved in that one again. Let's see what happens here to the 79. Ended a little late. We'll back this up a little further, see how that one developed. It was a big-time wiggle for Woodard, and then he went up in front of some traffic. Again, stacked up the field behind him. Ottinger gets the worst end of the deal, driver's side. Some pit stops underway. Justin Lawson's been involved in a few cautions here tonight. Again, we've had 7 already. I gotta say, I hope they get it together here. Get a nice long stretch of green flag racing in. Again, we're just past quarter distance here. We've already got 7 cautions. I don't want to see 20 plus. It's never fun for anybody, the drivers or the fans alike. League admins absolutely hate it. Recently covered a Gen 4 race, Gen 4 Cup Series race here at Martinsville. I forget if it was IROC or if it was No Bull, and honestly, it might have been both. But one of the races, I think, only ended up with 2 or 3 cautions the whole night, and that car is a disaster to try and get around here. At least I think it is. There's no right turns here, so I'm not the greatest at that. Field working the backstretch here on the 1 to go.
Green flag.
Caleb with another great restart. That's the advantage the race leader has. Gets to fire first. Battle for the third spot, Connor Leach and Alfie Sharon. Leach to the outside in the 71 Skunkworks machine. Alfie checks up way early, just lets him go. Take care of your stuff in the 9. Leach has been very aggressive since the start of this race. He's got a lot of pace. Right to the back bumper of Zach Millett. Leach drives it way deep into the corner. Might have gotten a tiny piece of the back bumper of Zach Millett's machine. Just enough to say, hey, I'm here and I'm faster. Oh man, he's driving way deep into the corner. It's going to cause Millett to try and do the same. Frankly, if I'm Millett here, I'm going to let the 71 go. See if he can apply some pressure to the 6. Granted, they are from the same stables. Don't think there was contact there. A little wiggle from the 315, but Millett loses the second spot, and the caution's out again. Trouble off turn 2 down the backstretch. Ben McKinnon involved in this one. I think possibly Tom Barish as well. Scott Milner a part of this as well. Loses the nose off of his truck. Let's see what happened here. Trying to get this one. We'll have to back it up the old-fashioned way. You know, I hate rewinding, but that's unfortunately what we got to do here. Milner up the track, tries to hook hard left and overcorrects, just noses it in the wall, clips McKinnon. Barish trying to sneak through. It's becoming pretty evident these trucks awful difficult to handle here around this short half mile. So we work caution number 8 on lap 56. Lawson back in pit lane. Yeah, I don't know if Lawson is just topping off fuel every time he comes down, or if he's trying to get some repairs made. I know these drivers all had a fast repair to start tonight. Now, I don't know if he's already used his, but he's going to take some tires here, which I find very interesting, and it was left sides only. Might have taken rights previously. Might be taking those lefts just to balance out the handling. Maybe didn't like how it felt, but again, with the amount of laps we've had under the green flag, I don't know why you'd take a set at this stage. We'll see. He's coming back down again now. He's going to top off fuel, or maybe he's going to take right sides now. I don't know what he's doing. I'm just guessing. We don't have a pit reporter here at HBR TV. That'd be kind of cool. Of course, we'd have to pay him. Yeah, he took left sides on the first stop. Now he's taking rights. Dumps the clutch and goes. I don't know if it's just he knows that it's going to take too long to do 4. He'd lose the lap. He had to do it in 2 stops. I'm not sure. Well, back out front, things have changed up a little bit. Now it's Caleb Sisk and Connor Leach, the front 2. 3rd and 4th, Zach Millett, Alfie Sharon. 5th and 6th, it's PJ Cox, Brandon Coleman.
Ready, green flag.
Sisk with a good restart here. Now Millet alongside the 71 of Leach off turn 2. Leach gets the better exit, pulls ahead just slightly, but late on the brakes is Zach Millet in turn 3. Closes to the back bumper of the 6 machine. Off turn 4, maybe a little bit of banging doors. Leach and Millet get away clean, still side by side for the most part through turns 1 and 2. Leach has Millet pinned down on the bottom of the racetrack. And Millet, I think, missed the corner again. We saw that early on. He drove over the curb on entry, upsets the balance of the truck. Now he's no longer alongside, loses a couple of truck lengths. Millet seems frustrated behind the wheel here. I think he knows he's got some pace. He just wants that clean air and get out there. Yes, clean air, even on a place like Martinsville Speedway, it does help. I think it's anything over 90 miles an hour, aerodynamics are really coming into play, even at that lower speed. "63 laps in, Caleb Sisk has led just about every lap, if not every lap to this point. Connor Leach in the 2nd spot. Made a big run here up to the 2nd position from 5th. I'm not sure if he slipped to the back early on because he was further back in the pack at the beginning stages of this race. I don't know if he had a penalty to deal with, but he's qualified in the 5th position, currently running 2nd. Terry Crouch in the chat. "What are you doing, Millet?"
Caution's out.
And caution on the speedway.
Talk me through your lap one time real quick.
Russ Kilgore, Paul Durkee, and others still getting involved in this one. Tom Barish. Milner trying to sneak through the middle there, thread the needle. Let's get a look at this one. Kilgore had an issue off turn 4, I think, all by himself. 13 comes around all by himself, it looks like, and I don't know what happened with Kilgore, why he managed to get into the 13 there. I think he was still having his own issues. Let's watch it again. Kilgore way up the track, just gets in the loose stuff, and around he goes and just kisses the nose of the 13 truck. Keaton Burnett in the stream chat. Millet wanted me to ask you to stop talking bad about him. I'm just calling it like I see it, Keaton. So Caleb Sisk takes the opportunity to hit pit road here. He's going to put tires on. Drops a jack and he's down and away. 14.92 seconds. Connor Leach came down as well. Leach also taking tires. A long stop for Leach, otherwise he may have beaten the 6 out. It cost him 2 extra seconds. My guess is he might have overshot the pit box. Joe Tucker into the pits as well. Right side's going on the number 35 Chastity Tucker Realtor machine. 4 tires and fuel for Joe Tucker. Should be 2 laps to go back to green here. Getting formed up already here at the front of the field. Guys are getting anxious. They're racers. They don't want to be under caution. They want to be out here turning hot laps. Zach Millet now is going to restart as the leader. We'll see what he's got. Teammate Alfie Charon will restart to the outside. Then it's Chris Klein and Brian Torsha and Jacob Sperling, the top 5. Keaton Burnett, no bias here. That's why everyone should like this man's stream. Keaton, thanks, man. Appreciate it. It's a great point to bring up, though. If you guys are watching, help us out. Click that like button. It's free to do, and it actually helps quite a bit. Puts this race and this video, this live stream out in front of more eyeballs, some extra audiences that may or may not necessarily be tuned in, but say, hey, what's this iRacing thing all about? Helps us here at the channel, helps the league. It's a win-win across the board. truck is off.
Green flag.
Dillon with the jump over Alfie Chera, and Alfie dumps down in front of Chris Klein before turn 1. Gets to the bottom of the racetrack. You don't want to get hung on the outside. Jeff Ongerge here at Woodard battling for position. Caleb Sisk back in the 11th spot. Connor Leach 3 wide in the entrance to the corner. He gets away with it. Oh, but contact. Leach goes around.
One thing for sure, everybody on the racetrack will be pissed off at somebody else on the racetrack before this race is over with.
Caution number 10. 72 laps in. Connor Leach. Connor looked real aggressive. He got down on the curb. I think he was 3 wide, but then I think he got ran over from the right rear. We'll get a look at the replay here in just a moment. Not a great angle. Let's back it up here a bit. So we'll watch it getting down into 1 here first. That's the biggest thing that I saw. Leach just drove it hard down into 1, 3 wide. Then he had to chase it, and then Barish not willing to give him any help. Let's watch it again here, down into turn 1. It was a very aggressive move. 71 of Leach had a great exit out of turn 4. It was right to the back bumper of the 55 of Tom Barish. Pulls out to pass, looking to the inside. PJ Cox thinking the same to the outside of Barish. But now we're 3 wide at a place that's just not made for it. Barish starts to turn in, but Leach was already up to the door. It sends Leach down on the curb. Puts the power down a bit. Barish cut him some slack there for a moment, but now the 71, as he transfers from the curb back to the racing surface, loses the rear end of the truck. And after getting roughed up, Barish is not willing to help him out, sends him around. And Albert Anderson in the chat says, did I see Chastity Tucker's name on the side of a truck? That's awesome. You absolutely did. Be the 35, Joe Tucker. It is a good-looking paint scheme, I gotta say. I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think Chris Goins painted this truck. I could be wrong. Joe might have done it himself. I don't know. Either way, it's a sharp truck, except for the right front and the nose and the left front. A little banged up. Other than that, though. Pace truck lights are off. Those of you that don't know, that means 1 lap to green. Pace truck will work the backstretch and hit pit road here from turn 3. Tucker family says Chris Goins painted the truck. Well, nice job, Chris Goins. It looks good. HBR TV machines lead the field back to the green flag.
Green
It
flag.
waves, and we're back racing at Martinsville Speedway. Dillon jumps out to almost 4/10 of a second on the first lap from the green flag through turns 3 and 4,
Caution.
and the caution's out again.
Boss man, you're doing a good job. You want to give us an update on that car?
Paul Durkee involved in this one. At least that's what the indication is. Let's see if we can get an idea what happened here. with the 13 machine. Joe Tucker slid up the racetrack just a bit. Frankly, I don't think that even warranted a caution. Get a better eye on Liam what happened here. Watch the 35. Connor Leach get into him here? Yes, he does. Good job by Joe Tucker just sliding it into the corner and just keeping it off the fence. Got a little bit of bumping and banging from the traffic coming through, but not a whole lot you can do about that. Connor Leach, a bat out of hell here. He is certainly fast and he's in go mode. There's no doubt about it. It's tough. I mean, guys like Connor Leach, he's got so much pace. And with the amount of cautions that we had, I certainly understand why he's got that sense of urgency, because there's not a whole lot of passing that you can do under the yellow flag unless there's guys on pit lane. It's the only time you're going to be able to pick up spots under the yellow. You've got to do it while you're green, which we haven't had a whole lot of that tonight. So Leach has got to go as soon as he gets an opportunity. Unfortunately, that aggression has resulted in some issues here tonight. Sharon in pit lane. It's going to take 4 tires and fuel here. Looks like Zach Millett took the opportunity to pit as well. He took tires also, 14.72 seconds. That's going to give the lead now to Mark Collins. Chris Klein's going to restart in the second spot. Number 51 Beaver Direct Toyota. Jacob Sperling will restart third. Jeff Ottinger will restart fourth. And PJ Cox in fifth. Once again, everybody, it is the skunkworksgraphics.com 160 from Martinsville Speedway. Thank you all for tuning in here this evening. Things have been a little shaky on the green flag action as far as that's concerned, but that happens. Short track racing. Getting down into crunch time in the season, these things do happen. Should be getting the 1 to go signal this time by. And looks like no, 2 to go.
Flag.
Down into turn number 1, Mark Collins with the race lead. Chris Klein in the second spot. Collins a half second out in front of the 51. Jacob Sperling third. Battle for the 4th position between PJ Cox and Jeff Ottinger. PJ Cox takes the spot.
Caution somewhere.
Caution is out again.
Throughout the course of that last run, did you see any rubber laying down at all?
79 of Jarrett Woodard around again. Let's see what happened here. Something we've seen a bunch of here tonight. Get that power down too early, too hard. Around he went. We're going to step aside, another break out of the way. Stay with us. We'll be back after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
marking caution number 12. It's about a yellow every 7 laps. Pace truck hits pit road. Let's try it again. Mark Collins, Jacob Sperling going to lead him back to the green flag.
Green, green, green.
Collins waiting for the flag to fly down into turn 1. Big time run for the 23. Now side by side for the second spot. Brandon Coleman and PJ Cox fighting. Sperling lost a ton of ground on the restart. Coming up through the pack now, it's the 6 of Caleb Sisk. Sperling back in the 5th spot.
Caution, caution.
Big trouble.
Save us a little here. Nice and smooth. Cool your tires off. Get your fans on.
Well, let's see what happened. It started further up. Might have been the 76 of Ottinger. See, Ottinger in the 76. He's going down the bottom of the racetrack. Connor Leach to the outside. Leach is turning down. Contact is made. Upsets the 76 truck. Jesse Redding gets into the back while he's trying to save it. Really nowhere for the 21 to go. Chain reaction after that. Torch gets into the 21. Derek Welch sneaks around on the outside. And then another stack up here as Redding continues to spin. Barish gets in there. Joe Tucker. Russ Kilgore is going to come in and get a piece. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Back at Martinsville Speedway. Wrapping up caution number 13. Mark Collins going to lead Brandon Coleman down. Row number 2, PJ Cox and Caleb Sisk. Then Connor Leach and Derek Welch.
Green flag.
Green back in the air. Sisk goes to the outside of PJ Cox for the 3rd spot. Not quite clear. Connor Leach may follow him through. PJ had an opportunity to close the door. He stays at the bottom of the racetrack. Good little battle going on here with Connor Leach and PJ Cox. Looks like Leach finally gets through. He drops down to the bottom of the racetrack in behind the 6 of Caleb Sisk. Top 5, Collins, Coleman, Sisk, Leach, and Cox. Zach Millett up to the 6th position. Welch 7th. Sharon is 8th, and the caution is out again. Brian Torsha
Guys,
in the
just
wall.
quickly, just remember, nice and smooth, take in fluids, stay by those fans, do what you can to keep cool.
See what happened to the 81 of Brian Torsha. Torch got into Derek Welch a bit, let him get going, and then just go up the racetrack, and there was somebody there. Fortunately for Brian Torsha, Justin Lawson was just to the outside when he tried to go up the racetrack. Been a tough night for these guys. Again, it's not typical by any means. If you're new to the Numb Thumbs Racing League, these guys do not run races like this typically. You might get a handful of cautions at best. And Martinsville's tough. It's flat, short track. Certainly not the norm. With that, we're going to step aside once again. We'll be right back.
Just don't know where that baby of mine. Well, I just don't know.
Back at Martinsville Speedway, wrapping up caution 14. Mark Collins still with the lead over Brandon Coleman, Caleb Sisk, Connor Leach, and Zach Millett. Pace truck is down.
Green flag.
And we're back racing. Watching the battle in the top 10. One driver around the 15.
Yellow's out.
Caution back on the
Do you
speedway.
need the pit sign now, Jersey? Get more acclimated to it, or is it still difficult?
Ben McKinnon goes around off turn 2. Ben McKinnon hits pit road. Scott Milner the same. In fact, Milner's been there a while, so this is not a new pit stop. He's been sitting there for the better part of 15 minutes. I think Milner's calling it a race. Mark Collins doing a good job trying to hang on to things. I will say Caleb Sisk has done a great job throughout all these cautions, picking off a spot or two every restart. It's the best way to do it right now. You got to take those opportunities when they're presented to you. Again, right now with all these cautions, it's hard to make up ground. You got to do it on those restarts. Collins is going to have yet another opportunity for a restart. This time he'll have the 6 of Caleb Sisk to his left or right. Not sure which lane Mark is going to pick here as the lights on the pace truck have gone off. I think Collins might be opting, I'm not sure what lane, unless they've switched to single file restarts. That could be the case. I'm not 100% sure. If they have, not a bad plan. Looks like that is the case. All lined up single file down the backstretch. This could help our issue with these back-to-back-to-back cautions. Pace truck is down. Collins all by his lonesome out in front.
Green flag.
Green flag back in the air. Collins gets the jump. Not a huge one, though. Half a truck between himself and the 6. Caleb down the bottom of the racetrack. Collins with a big run on the outside, but a better exit for the 6 of Caleb Sisk. Gets alongside, takes over the race lead back down into turn number 3. Coleman's going to come down in the bottom side as well. He's going to challenge for the 2nd spot, and here comes Connor Leach. Leach, a little bump, another bump. Gets into the rear of the 19 truck. Collins up the racetrack. He's just free fall here. I guess he's got older tires on. He's back in the 5th spot now. Caleb Sisk out in front. Starting to put some distance on Coleman. The biggest margin of an advantage we've seen all day long here. A full second back to 2nd place, Brandon Coleman. Coleman's got his hands full with Connor Leach in the 71. Millett now up into the 4th position as well.
Caution. How you doing in there, kids?
BJ Cox involved in this one. Some damage, but he gets away. Caution number 16. Let's see what happened here to the 05. BJ drove it way deep into the corner and then gets on the brakes, just spins the rear out. Too hot on entry, maybe too much rear brake. Nevertheless, he gets spun around. Gets to the safer barrier. Everybody else avoids him, but damage inflicted to the 05 Lone Star Racing machine. So through that exchange, we do have a new leader. We talked about Caleb Sisk very quickly taking over the top spot from Mark Collins. Collins has slipped back to P6. Still double the positioning where he started. He qualified 12th here tonight. Collins' last pit stop, lap 55. Working lap 116 right now. Back at Martinsville Speedway for the skunkworksgraphics.com 160. It's been an eventful one here tonight. Finishing up our 16th caution, pace truck in pit lane as we're still single file for the restarts. Caleb Sisk brings him down, hammers the throttle, gets away quickly. Connor Leach and Brandon Coleman to battle for the second spot. Side for a moment. Connor Leach crosses over, looking back to the inside of the 19 and Coleman. Coleman is there, but Leach just keeps diving lower and lower on the racetrack. It's going to mess up his entry just a bit, and he doesn't lose any ground. Maintains the position right to the back bumper. Maybe a little bit of a push looking to the outside on Brandon Coleman. Then through turns 3 and 4, side by side, the battle continues. Meanwhile, the 315 is Zach Millett coming into the frame. He's got some fresher tires as well. Looking to the inside, Connor Leach into turn 1. Leach slips up the racetrack just a bit, opens the door for both HBR-TV trucks, and Leach might be going around.
Caution. Man, tell me what you got.
Caution number 17. Looks like Leach spun this one out by himself at this point. Pushed it just a bit too far, I think. Let's get a look at it. Millett went to the bottom, and Leach just lost it under braking. Saved it going up the racetrack, but he got out of the concrete and just overcorrected it. Going to move Leach down to the 20th position. Wow, Joe Tucker in pit lane. Now at this point, nobody needs to make extra stops for fuel if they stop now. Again, we expected they could go about 80 laps on a tank of fuel. We haven't been anywhere near that on a full green flag run. I think the longest we've gone is maybe 10 laps. And with the remaining laps in this race, everyone should be good to go. Looks like Joe Tucker, though, bolting on his last set of tires. So he has all the grip that he needs. Looks like he used that fast repair as well, because all that damage on that F-150 is no more. He's got a tall order ahead of him, though. He's going to restart, looks like 19th. Caleb Sisk still your race leader. Remember, he started this race on pole. Brandon Coleman second, started ninth. Zach Millett third, started outside front row. Alfie Sharon in fourth, where he started. Mark Collins running fifth. He started 12th. Biggest mover of the day so far, though, is the 7 of Russ Kilgore. He's up 13 positions, running ninth. A little bit of left front damage on the 7, though. Taking a look at some information here. Caleb Sisk, Brandon Coleman, your top 2 drivers as we get ready for another restart. Their pit stops coming last at lap 66. They did take tires at that point, and yes, we have had a bunch of cautions in that time frame, but Zach Millett, Alfie Charon, 3rd and 4th, they made their pit stop at lap 79, also taking 4 tires and fuel. Mark Collins made his pit stop at lap 55. He's doing a good job surviving. Remember, he restarted up front with the race lead a couple of restarts ago and very quickly threw out the anchor and started to drop back. Caleb Sisk is going to bring him back down. Still a single file restart. Seemed to have helped things a bit. Not perfect, but better.
Green flag, green flag.
Green back in the air. Still in the 12th position after being involved in a couple of different incidents. Joe Tucker with his fresh tires back in 16, made up a couple of spots already since the drop of the green flag on the restart. Connor Leach, though, banging on the back door. '88 is Sperling making a move to the outside. Connor Leach, even though he's had his issues, not giving up. Still at 110%, that number 71 truck. Gets to the outside of Joe Tucker. This is the battle for the 15th position. 29 of Jesse Sperling up the racetrack, loses a couple of spots to Tucker and Connor Leach. Looks like Jarrett Woodard was part of that as well. So Sperling lost 3 spots in the 71, up in the fence again. 2 drivers up the racetrack. Contact, and we've got another caution.
Caution's out. Can you look at those temps real quick, bud?
Well, we'll see what happened here. 2 drivers went up the racetrack. Connor Leach was one of them. I think Woodard may have been another. Leach may have gotten back to the power a little sooner than the 79, but let's unpack this here. See both drivers up the racetrack here. The 79 of Woodard and the 71 of Leach up the racetrack in 4. Both drivers managed to keep it off the wall. I think Woodard gets back to the throttle a little harder than he should here, crosses the truck up, has to lift and save it, and then Leach, without any room, just drives right through him and sends him into the 88 of Sperling. There you have it. Our 18th caution of the night. Eddie Rose in the stream chat says, why did NASCAR officials have a 29-lap caution at Martinsville? I'm going to guess it has something to do with weather and wet weather tires. Maybe I'm half right. I don't know. And I'm totally guessing. Anybody else before Eddie gives us the answer? While we're at it, Eddie, you asked the same question the other night at a different racetrack. What's the record number of cautions at Martinsville Speedway for a truck race? Or cup race. I don't think it really matters. Just go for the bigger number. Certainly had a bunch here tonight, 18 cautions. Certainly nobody here wants to do that. But it's racing. Everybody's trying to root and gouge for every inch they can on the racetrack. Lights on the pace truck are out. Next time by, we'll see the green flag. 22 laps to go. Fingers crossed, maybe we go 22 laps all the way to the finish without a caution. I know it's optimistic.
Green flag.
Oh, stack up again. I don't think that was on the 6. I think he just waited longer than he has been, and some guys tried to time it, but it didn't work out well. Both HBR TV trucks making contact with each other. They both continue on without losing any ground to speak of, but some track position. Watch it again here. And I think the caution just came back out, but we'll watch the restart here. Yeah, a bit of a stack up. So, caution number 19, as we check the previous replay of the restart. What happened here? Russ Kilgore in the 7, that green truck in the middle. Off the nose of Brian Torsha, it looks like. Three wide. Kilgore knew it, but just running out of room. Torsha gets into him, but Connor Leach pushing the 81 as well. Hard to lift with the 71 behind you. Interestingly enough, Connor Leach already back up into the 12th spot after his crash. I mean, a legitimate crash. Granted, he did use that fast repair, so the truck is in good shape. So Eddie Rose confirms it. It's to fix scoring issues. That's why we had a 29-lap caution at Martinsville. I assume that was in the Cup Series. What year was it, Eddie? If you're still in the broadcast here, what year did that happen? I don't recall that. It sounds vaguely familiar, but I think it might have been before my time. Eddie's our resident Pops over at HBR. Eddie Rose says 21 cautions is the record number of yellows at Martinsville Speedway. Again, Eddie, I would assume that's a cup race. That's a 500-lap race. 40-second delay when we run in 4K here, but it's 17 laps to go here for Martinsville Speedway. Thinking we'll get the green flag here with 15 laps left. Really has been a eventful one. I guess that's the best word I can come up with right now. Field rolling through turn 4 here. Let's see if the lights go out on the pace truck. And there they go. So as we expected, 15 laps to go when we get the green flag here. Let's just cross our fingers. 15 lap run to the finish would be great. Very Toyota heavy top 10, only 3 Chevrolets, the rest of them are all Toyotas. Green flag back in the air. Caleb Sisk gets a good jump once again. Ryan Torsha to the inside of Connor Leach. Leach making the pass around the outside, doing it the hard way. Still side by side with Joe Tucker. I don't care how fast you are, and the caution comes out.
I need to tell you about your car, bud.
I was going to say, I don't care how fast you are. Joe Tucker is very difficult to pass, no matter the situation. Looks like Jacob Sperling and Jeff Ottinger involved in this one here. Both drivers drive away from the scene. But let's get a look at, see what happened as caution number 20 goes up on the scoring pylon. Oh, Russ Kilgore in it. Oh, a couple of drivers. All right, so that changes things a bit. Watch it slower here from the blimp. It looks like Kilgore gets to the inside here just as the 15's turning in. A little bit of contact sends Kilgore to the curb. Then slides up, makes contact with the 15. That's Ben McKinnon. And then looks like Ottinger and Sperling are just going to be collected in it. Ottinger had a slowdown for it, but didn't make any contact. But Sperling losing the nose of his truck. Eddie Rose confirming in 2016 was the issue where the officials threw the caution. It had a scoring issue. I guess all the transponders were all screwed up. I don't remember that. I believe it, but I don't remember it. So we are one caution away from tying the record number of yellows here at Martinsville Speedway. Again, Eddie, I didn't get confirmation from Eddie Rose, but I think that 21 caution record was indeed a cup race, and I believe it was a 500 lapper. But that's a lot of cautions even for a cup race. That's a lot. And those guys are supposed to be the best of the best. And it happened to them. Granted, we don't have as many laps here tonight, but these guys also aren't professionals. They're fast, don't get me wrong, and they are good. This is not the norm. This is not an every week occurrence. We said that earlier in the broadcast. These things happen once in a while. It's not common, but it does happen. Getting close to the end here, less than 10 laps to go. So the pace truck lights go out once again. 9 laps to go. It'll be 8 laps to go when we take the green flag. So maybe we can get this one in without another yellow. The average tonight's been about 6 or 7 laps at most, and we get a caution. I know we've had some less and we've had some more, but on average, it's about 7.1 laps. It'll be 8 laps to go when we get back to the stripe. Let's see if we can make it all the way to the finish, or will there be overtime? Got 3 opportunities at that if need be. Pace
Green
truck
flag.
is down, green flag is in the air, we're back racing. Millett jumps to the outside of Coleman, nothing doing there. Everybody clean through turns 1 and 2. Connor Leach now up into the top 11. Working on the top 10. Justin Lawson, a little wiggle out of the corner. Leach still to the outside. Derek Welch scraping the outside wall on exit, continues on. No harm, no foul. That's stuff to expect to see here in short track racing. Joe Tucker now making a move to the outside of Justin Lawson. Leach into the 10th spot here, working on Derek Welch for 9th. Sperling there in trouble with some damage, and the caution is out again. Ryan Torsha goes around. I don't know if that was assisted by the 29 of Sperling or if it was after the 81 started to go around. We'll look at it again here from the blimp. Torch was battling with the 35 of Joe Tucker at the time. Now, Torch went around and then there was contact, but he was already spinning. I think he jammed on the brakes there, thinking he may be running into the back of Joe Tucker. He did not make contact with the 35, but it did send him around. Caution number 21 with 3 laps to go, which is going to send us to NASCAR overtime. We're going to step aside, get a break out of the way. We'll be back after this.
I met Marco Scarza when...
Back in Martinsville Speedway. Officially passed the advertised distance of 160 laps. Pace truck lights are off. We're going to have our first attempt at a green-white checkered finish, which means we've got to make it 2 laps. Green flag comes out. The next time by, the white flag will come out. Once the leader takes the white flag, that's it. Race will end no matter what. Caution comes out before the white flag. Well, then we'll line them up and try it again. Pace truck is down. Green flag is in the air. We're back racing for the first green-white checkered finish attempt at Martinsville Speedway. It's like an instant replay of the last restart. Millett jumped to the outside of Coleman, but nothing doing there. Looking out of the inside down the back. Coleman gets crossed up. Millett still in behind, a truck length, maybe half behind the 19, and the white flag is in the air. Final lap from Martinsville Speedway. Caleb Sisk into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. It's been a war here this afternoon, but off turn 4, the checkered flag waves for the 6th with skunkworksgraphics.com. Second place, Brandon Coleman. Zach Millett finishes 3rd. Caleb Sisk with his, I think this is his first win of the season, I believe. Surprised it took this long. He's very fast out there, but he takes the win here at Martinsville. I think Caleb's doing more clutch burning than he is tire burning. Not a whole lot of smoke coming off that thing. Caleb doing one full lap here, trying to do his best Kyle Larson impression. Oh, and he blows it up into 3. Actually, that's 2. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Race over. Caleb Sisk wins it. We'll be back after this. Just don't know where that baby of mine. Well, I just don't know. Have mercy, brother. Back at Martinsville Speedway, this one finally in the books. Talk about endurance racing. It really wasn't supposed to be, but man, 21 cautions, a green-white checkered finish. That was a tough one to get through, but they got through it. Caleb Sisk takes the checkered flag, gets this win here on the short track. The driver of the number 6, Caleb Sisk. You got me?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Good, Caleb. Congratulations on taking that checkered flag. I know it took us a lot longer than we expected to get there, but a win is a win nevertheless. You put it on pole position, you take the checkered flag, man. Tell us about your race.
And it was a lot of pacing. I tell you what, I feel fresh for any kind of restart that I need to execute in the next couple weeks, because we had 21 cautions in the initial start, so we had 22 times to practice those restarts. I think we're okay on that.
You know, that ties a cup record for cautions.
Does it really? Steve, what an awesome nugget of information.
But they did it in 500 laps, not 163.
Hey, that was the caveat. What a good catch. What a good catch.
Well, nevertheless, it's Martinsville. Sometimes these things happen. It's not always the way, but again, I said it a lot of times throughout the broadcast. It's not typical of this particular league. You guys usually run pretty clean, but sometimes you get a doozy like this one. It's the way it is. How did you keep your composure throughout all those cautions? And as you even said, through those restarts that you had to hold down, you seem to do pretty well with it.
Yeah, it just trying to get focused, right? You get the one to go, just stay in your routine, clean up the rears, make sure they're hot. I wasn't ever worried about going on a long run, so I wasn't thinking about overheating anything. Just try to maintain control of the race, which I thought was important, and it turned out to be true. And so a little strategy there, try to pit a little bit before 80. I figured most of the field would pit at 80, and I wanted to pit before that. And I just ran the risk of getting caught up in a wreck, which has happened a multitude of times at tracks that I've, what I like to say is dominated, where I had the pole, had the fastest lap, led the most laps, and come away with nothing to show for it. But super patient with the field, tried to let everybody just kind of settle their stuff down and slowly make our way back to the lead, and it worked out tonight.
With all that said, next week we go to another difficult racetrack. It's a lot faster and about twice the size, but a lot more higher banks. That's Dover, Delaware, the old Monster Mile. How do you feel about these trucks out at Dover next week?
Oh, man, these trucks at Dover are amazing. It's pretty typical with me. I've only ever run it in the open setup, but they are so fun. You can carry a lot of speed. You can use a little bit of the draft. You can drive it in on the high side. It's not just the bottom that's going to be fast. You can make the high lane work, or it's really the middle, like lane 2.5. There's a lot of momentum to be had. I mean, it's a lot of fun racing. I'm sure it'll be a good show and a lot of fun.
Certainly look forward to it, Caleb. Again, congratulations on the race win here tonight. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you get going?
Man, first and foremost, let me give a shout out to Skylar Harrod. I have forgotten him in previous interviews, so he's number 1 tonight. I didn't forget you, Skylar. D. Allen Grote, he's out on a family emergency, so we just want to let him know we're thinking about him. Hope he's doing okay. skunkworksgraphics.com, passingunderyellow.com. Thanks for staying on the truck, keeping the truck looking pretty. And yourself for carrying the broadcast. Man, it's going to be a good time. Also, Connor Leach, new teammate. Just huge accomplishment to finally get it over the hill. And, once you get the first one, sometimes some more will come, and maybe they won't, but at least we got the one.
Sometimes that first win just opens those floodgates. We'll have to see how things pan out next week at Dover. Caleb, nice job. Thanks for talking to us, man. Good luck next week.
Hey, appreciate it, Steve. Have a great night.
Too. Caleb Sisk, your race winner here at Martinsville Speedway. Next, we're going to talk to Brandon Coleman, driver of the number 19. Finished here with a runner-up here tonight at Martinsville Speedway. It's Brandon Coleman. You got a copy?
I do.
Brandon, congratulations, man. A solid finish. You started 9th here tonight, and through even all these cautions, you still managed to work your way up 7 spots to finish runner-up. Walk us through your race. What was the strategy, and did it all go out the window with all these cautions tonight?
The cautions actually helped, believe it or not. It was very stressful, but it helped. I like Martinsville. I typically do good at Martinsville. But coming them last, say, 10, 15 laps where I couldn't get a good restart to get up there with Sisk, and then I had Millett behind me, and that guy's great, man. That guy's great at driving trucks, and that put a lot of pressure on you. And he was real patient, and I told myself if he was going to pass me, it's going to have to be on the outside, and he was real patient, so I got to thank him for that.
Well, we watched a couple of restarts there at the end. The last two, to be specific, they were like mirror images of each other. Both times, quickly jumped to the outside like he had the run. He didn't have the run, still had to tuck back in behind you. I don't know if maybe he's just trying to get in your mirrors to make you force into mistakes, but you kept your cool through the whole thing. You managed to hang on to that second spot, so a job well done. Next week, though, we roll into Dover, the Monster Mile. I guess that one's going to be kind of crazy as well. Much faster, of course, twice the size, but higher banks. How do you feel about your chances at maybe backing this up and maybe even taking a win next week at Dover?
I like Dover. I think it's going to be tough, and it's going to be a tire track, but I feel good about it. Paul Durkee likes Dover. He does really well there, and it helps a lot when you got Durkee and Lawson and all my teammates, the GOATs, talking and kind of coaching. We coach each other, and that helps a lot.
Well, I'm sure you guys are going to certainly put the work in this week in preparation for Dover. Again, Brandon, congratulations on the runner-up finish here tonight. Who do you want to thank before we let you go?
I want to thank you guys for doing an amazing job on broadcasting. One of the best out there, in my opinion. Want to thank Derek for putting this league on, all the leagues he does. I mean, that guy does an amazing job at all these leagues and all the hard work that goes on after that nobody sees. And then I want to thank my teammates for coaching me and helping and being there, and Paul Durkee for painting these nice trucks. And that's it.
That's all you can do, Brandon. Again, nice work. Thanks for talking to us, man. Thanks for the kind words, and good luck next week out in Delaware.
Thank you.
It's Brandon Coleman, your runner-up here at Martinsville Speedway. We were going to try and talk with Zach Millett, but unfortunately he had to drop and run and head to work. So we'll have to save that for, maybe next week. If he's in the top three, we'll chat about it. But nonetheless, Zach Millett bringing home the 315, the HBR TV ride in the third position to finish things out here at Martinsville after starting outside front row. With all that said, let's take a look at our official race results. Of course, Caleb Sisk, your race winner. Brandon Coleman was second, Zach Millett third. Alfie Sharon comes home in the fourth spot. Mark Collins was fifth. Chris Klein finishes in the sixth position. Connor Leach battled it back. Man, he came up and still finished in seventh. Derek Welch was eighth. Jesse Redding ninth. Jarrett Woodard finished in the 10th spot. Jesse Sperling was 11th. Tony Polk finished in the 12th position. Russ Kilgore was 13th. PJ Cox comes home in the 14th position. 15th goes to Ben McKinnon. 16th place finisher, it's Brian Torsha, like a Porsche. Jeff Ottinger was 17th. 18th was Justin Lawson. Joe Tucker was 19th. Paul Durkee, 20th. 21st was Jacob Sperling. Tom Barish, 22nd. And 23rd, 86 laps down, was Scott Milner. It's your race results here from Martinsville Speedway, the Davidson Builders Truck Series. Thank you guys all for tuning in here tonight. This was a tough one. If you stuck with it, certainly do appreciate it. Again, don't worry. Don't let this discourage you from next week. They're not all like this. This does happen every now and again. Doesn't matter if it's numb thumbs or no bowl. It doesn't make a difference. It's going to happen at some point. They're not all going to be gems. What racing we did see on the racetrack tonight, it was fun to watch. It was good. I just wish we had more of it under the green flag. It is what it is, though. We move on to Dover next week. I hope you guys all tune in for it. Should be a blast of a show. Certainly a fun place to get around, as some had said already in the post-race, but a difficult place as well. Nevertheless, thank you all for watching. Make sure you like the stream, share the stream to anybody else that might want to watch it that didn't get a chance to here tonight. As always, we do appreciate that. And check out hbrtv1.com. Try to get everything posted up there as well. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great night.